Hello and welcome back. Today we will be discussing relative frequency distribution. If you haven't already, I would recommend checking out my video on frequency distributions. This is the add to that with relative frequency distributions. So here we have our frequency table, okay? And we're going to see questions such as which value occurs the most often? What fraction of the data are threes? How could we express these counts as percentages? We're going to discuss all that in this video. So, a relative frequency distribution shows the proportion or percentage of observations that fall into each category instead of just a row count. So it's just adding on to what we've established with our frequency tables here. And here we have our equation to find relative frequency, super basic equation. It's simply relative frequency equals whichever frequency we are observing divided by the total number of observations. Okay. So how do we create one of these? Here's our steps listed out. Step 1, find the total number of observations, which was our last step in the previous video. Step 2, divide each frequency by the total count. Step 3, write each answer as a decimal fraction or percentage. And step 4, verify that all relative frequencies add up to 1 if we're looking at decimals or fractions, or 100% if we're looking at percentages. All right, and here we have an example. So here is the frequency table we have listed before. Step 1, count up the total frequencies, okay? 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 2 equals 20. So we've 20 total frequencies. Okay. I combine steps 2 and 3 here, which we have as divide each fraction and write each answer. Okay. So this on these two left columns are our given frequency table. The right column we add is our relative frequency. And it's really simple. We just take each frequency and divide it by 20, which again was our total sum of the frequencies. So 1 occurs 4 times. So we do 4 divided by 20. That gives us 0.2 or 0.20, which is equal to 20%. Quick note here. How do we get from 0.20 to 20%? Very simple. Just multiply by 100. Let's do it in blue. 0.20 times 100 equals 20%. And another just quick note, I know I talk about this in one of my algebra videos, but percentage, the word here, right, here's the word, percentage is literally percent. And if we know anything about money, change we count in cents. Cent is a suffix for hundred. So percent translates to per hundred, or per 100, I should say. Okay. So a percentage is literally per 100, 20%, 20 per 100. Okay. Anyway, just quick note on that. Let's get rid of this. All right, back to our example at hand. The value 2 occurs 6 times. Okay, 6 over 20, which is the same as 3 over 10. 3 divided by 10 gives us 0.3, which times 100 gives us 30%. The value 3 occurs 8 times. 8 over 20, same as 4 over 10, same as 2 over 5, equals 0.40 times 100 gives us 40%. And lastly, 4 occurs 2 times. 2 over 20 is the same as 1 over 10, equals 0.10 times 100, 10%. Okay. And lastly, we just double check by, I chose to add up the decimals here. We add all of these up, should add up to 1. We know everything checks out. Cool. Easy peasy. Here's some real world applications. I know this is important to a lot of students. Me personally, I just enjoy it for the game. But some people like, oh, what am I going to use this for? All right, well, you'll see cumulative frequency, or sorry, this is, you'll see relative frequency distributions used in survey results. You will see it used in election polling, customer preferences, test score distributions, which is a big one for students. It's good to see how you compare personally to the rest of the class, and product sales. Okay. Some common mistakes we see with these: forgetting to divide the total number of forgetting to divide by the total number of observations. That is what we must divide by, whatever that adds up to. Dividing by the wrong total. Make sure your count is correct. forgetting to convert decimal to percentages when requested. Do it however your teacher wants you to do it. And not checking that the relative frequency total to 1. Always make sure this adds up to 1 or 100%. It's just a quick way to check that you didn't make any mistakes. Okay, here we have a practice problem. All right, feel free to pause the video and take a look at these questions here. All right, let's take a look. So question 1, create a relative frequency distribution for this table here. And you notice we changed the value to categories. You can do that. That's fine. It's not always going to be numbers. Question 2, create another relative frequency distribution for this frequency table. And question 3, which category has the greatest relative frequency in each table? All right, so our first table should look something like this, and I just simply highlighted the greatest frequency. So first off, we have frequency of 5, 3, and 2 over here. 5 plus 3 plus 2 equals 5 plus 5 equals 10. So that is where these 10s come from. We're going to divide all 3 of these by 10 because this adds to 10. So value A occurs 5 times. 5 divided by 10 is 0.50 times 100, 50%. B 3 times, 3 over 10, 0.30, 30%. C twice, 2 over 10, 0.20, 20%. Okay. And I highlighted value A because for question 3, which category occurs the most? A has the highest relative frequency. And question 2 here, same thing. Our values are 10, 20, and 30. Frequencies 7, 5, and 8. Again, 7 plus 5 plus 8 equals 12 plus 8 equals 20. That's where these 20s over here came from in my denominator. We're going to divide all these frequencies by 20. 7 divided by 20 equals 0.35, 35%. 5 divided by 20 equals 0.25, 25%. And 8 divided by 20 equals 0.4, 40%. And we could see here our value of 30 has the highest relative frequency at 40%. Okay. And I didn't do it here, but it's always good to double check that our relative frequencies add up to 1 or 100. I know 0.5 or 50, it's easier over here. 50 plus 30 is 80 plus 20, 100%. That checks out. 35 plus 25 gives us 60. 60 plus 40, 100%. That also checks out. Cool. All right. And that's everything I have for you on relative frequency distributions. Thank you for tuning in. As always, a link to the notes will be in the video description, and I will see you next time. Take care.